What's up guys, this is Casey bringing you another Blender tutorial. Today we're going to be making 8-bit characters in Blender. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to need a background image for this. So I'm going to hit my N key to bring up my properties window. And down here at the bottom, background images. Add image. I'm going to open an image. And I should have one already in, is it my reference or is it actually in my pictures? Here it is. One of these Donkey Kong ones. I don't remember which one. Let's do, I guess we'll do Mega Man instead. Okay, so let me show you. This is the picture. I found this on Google. You can do this right from home. Basically, you just type in the name of the character that you want, followed by 8-bit and grid. So, to find this image, I typed in Mega Man 8-bit grid. The good thing is that a lot of people are making these, and they're fairly easy to find now because people use them to make these characters in Minecraft. So people are making these grids to make it nice and easy to know which colored blocks to use in Minecraft to make this character. But it also helps us out when using Blender to make our 8-bit characters. So it's important to have this grid because if you don't, I've tried it without the grid just to see if I could do it, and unfortunately a lot of these pixels are just misplaced or they're overlapping each other, and it can make things really difficult. So I highly recommend that you find one that has a grid, or you make one that has a grid. Whatever it is that you want to do, just it's so much easier if you have one that has a grid. So I'm gonna delete my default cube by hitting X, delete, and Shift A, add a mesh plane. Now the plane is sitting flat right now, like this, so we need to rotate it on the X by 90 degrees. That's R, X, 90, enter. So now we basically just need to scale our plane to fit this actual image. So if I go to the top part, I'm just about at the tip of his head. I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I'm just going to start dragging these out. And it needs to be at the furthest point on each side. So grab that on the X, we'll pull that out to right about here, like that. And then we just need to pull this one down. So grab on the Z axis, and right there. Okay, so we have him perfectly encased. Now we just need to actually do some loop cuts, and I find it's easier to do loop cuts than it is to try and figure out how many times you can subdivide it. So let's go to our loop cut, and we're going to go crossways, and we're just going to start using our mouse wheel to increase the number of loop cuts, and we're going to do that until it lines up perfectly with the grid, which seems to be right there. So for this one I am using 29 cuts, and then we got to do it the other way. So let's do this one, and lined up perfectly. We're at 25 cuts that way. Okay, so now we have it subdivided. I'm going to go to my face select tool, and now we just got to get rid of all this empty space. So I'm just going to start holding shift and right clicking on all of the little empty spots that have no colors, no pictures or images. Now you can leave them if you want, I guess, and create sort of a background to your 8-bit character, but I don't know why you would. It's not something that I would do, but I guess you could. Okay, so we have this top part selected. So if we go ahead and hit X and delete just the faces, not the one that says only faces, the one that just says faces. And you can see that we've now cleared away the top part, so now all we got to do is clear away the rest of it. So a quicker way of getting most of this done is by using the box select tool. It's by hitting the B key, and then we can click and drag and select a whole bunch of them at a time. It's really fast for most of these. Now you're not going to be able to get all of them that way, obviously, because this is it has little details, things like that. So there's one side. Oh, we gotta come over here and get this side like that and that, and we'll come over here and grab these. Oops, I'm unselecting some of them, just like that, and grab a couple more. And I suppose I could just box select those ones. And I'll select these ones all the way down to a shoe. Grab those. Grab these ones. And we'll box select for these ones. And then again, I'm going to hit X, faces. And that leaves us now with our actual base to our character. So if I tab out of that, you can see we have our 8-bit character coming along nicely. So now the best way to go about this is to actually do the colors next, to do the materials. So to do that, we first need to add a material. Let's go to our materials tab and go new. And I'm just going to name this MM Black. Stands for Mega Man Black. And because it's our first material, we just need to select all of our faces and click this little button in our materials tab that says assign. So now, if I go down here to my material view, oops. Oh, well, we didn't actually give it black color yet. Let's see. Right here in our materials tab where it says color, it's got that little white color. We're just going to click on the color. I'm going to use the little dropper tool and just grab that black color. We're going to have to go back and fix these colors later, but for now it'll work. So I grabbed the black color. It turned out gray, and I will explain why when we get to that point. For now, this is how I'm going to do it, so just bear with me. Okay, we're going to go back to our material view. Okay, so you can see now that it's like a dark gray color. That's exactly what we're looking for. So now we need to add a new material. So hit this little plus button and click new. And we're going to name this Mega Man Dark Blue. So now we basically just need to select all the faces that have an actual dark blue color. This is where things can get a tiny bit tedious, especially if you're working on a really detailed character. Going through and selecting all of these faces can be a pain. But if you want a true 8-bit character from it, it is what you have to do. Now there are ways that you can cheat around this a little bit, and you can maybe join some of the faces together so that you don't have to keep doing that, but in the end it pretty much comes out to the same amount of work. So honestly, this is probably the best way to do it. Oops. So I guess I could, while I'm doing this, I could maybe explain the coloring thing. Because we have our actual grid over top of our picture, and we're looking through our X-ray view or our wireframe view, it puts this weird kind of gray saturated tone over top of our image, our background image. So when we select the colors in the background, it's going to come out a different color than what the image actually is. So every time I tell you to use the dropper tool and select a color, it's not giving us the real color that we want. So we'll have to go back and fix that. Okay, so this is our dark blue. So we want to make sure that we've clicked on our dark blue on our materials tab, and we just want to click assign. Now if I hit my A key to unselect everything, and I use this little select button down here in my materials tab, it should select only the dark blue parts. If yours selects more, then you have messed something up. Alright, so now we need to add a new material. Click on new, and we're going to name this one Blue. So we have dark blue and we have blue. So now we just go through here and select the light blue colors instead of the dark blue colors. Like this. And you can use your box select tool again if it's easier to actually select some of these boxes, if it's quicker. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Okay, so there's the actual blue color, so I'm going to click on my blue material and click assign. Oh, right. We forgot to assign colors again, so let's click on our dark blue material and click on the color, our little dropper, and there's our dark blue, and then we'll do it to our regular blue. We'll click on color, our dropper, and we'll select our light blue. Now we need to make a new material. We're going to call that one Tan. It's for our Mega Man tan color. So now we just select his face like this. That one's easy. So we'll click on that, we'll click assign, and then the color. Oops, we want to actually deselect that first, or it's going to be really weird. There we go, there's tan. New material, new. We'll go white. That'll be for the whites of his eyes. So let's select the whites of his eyes. And you'll need to do this for every different color that you have in your picture. So that should be it. So let's assign that. And then we'll select the color like that. So now if we go back to our original black color, an easy way to see if we've assigned all of our pixels correctly is to click on our original black material and hit the select button. And if the only things that are selected right now is the black outline, then we have done it correctly. Yay! So if I tab out of edit mode and I look at my material view, we have our Mega Man. He's a little bit saturated, and we will fix that as soon as possible. However, there's a couple more things that we can do. So now that we have our flat 8-bit character, let's try adding a little bit of depth. So the easiest way to do this, since we have a material assigned to every different portion of his body, we can actually use that to select different portions that we want to drag in or out. So if I go to my Mega Man tan color and I click select, you can see I have just his face. Well, let's go with Mega Man white, and we'll select that one, and now I also have his eyes. So if I want to, I can now extrude that, pull it out just a little bit like this, try and make him as square as possible. So now his face pops out just a little bit. So now let's say I want to do that with all of the dark blue. So let's select that. We'll extrude, pull it out right about there, like that. Alright, Alright, so we're looking pretty good. So now we're just going to add some fuller depth to this. We don't need our face select anymore. Let's go back to our vertice select. And I'm going to hit Z to go into my wireframe mode. And I'm going to box select, and I'm just going to select everything in the back row. Like that. And then I'm going to extrude by hitting the E key. And let's see, we'll go right about, a little bit more, right about there. So now if I tab out and go back to my material view, that looks about right. So you can, I mean, this is just me kind of messing around with it a little bit, but you can really get into this and, you know, shape it in any kind of way that you want. Normally I just do the one big extrusion backwards because I don't know, I'm lazy, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you just take your time, figure out which parts you want to stick out and which ones you don't. Or maybe you don't want any of it to stick out, maybe you just want a little bit of depth to it. You can really get in there and play around with this. So now that we have our actual model complete, what we need to do is we need to fix these colors. So there's an easy way to do this. We're just going to go down here to our UV image editor, and we're going to use this little drop down box to select our background image. That's our Mega Man picture here. So now we don't have the overshadow of our wireframe view over top of it. So now we're just going to correct these colors. So let's go to our Mega Man black, and we're going to use that dropper tool, and we'll select black. And we have our dark blue. Select the dropper, grab the dark blue. We have our regular blue, so let's select that. We have our Mega Man tan. Go in there and select that. And we have our Mega Man white. So let's go in there, select that. So now we should have our colors back to the way we want them. So let's go to our 3D view. And there we go. Much, much, much better, right? Now we're actually looking at something good here. So you can have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff. I mean, with the right kind of views and getting the right perspective, you can make a huge multitude of characters, and you can do it pretty fast, and it just looks like old-fashioned kind of video game art. I played around with it a little bit myself. Let me see. I should be able to open it from here. Actually, I don't know where I put it. Well, let me see if I can open it maybe. Where's my recent? Hopefully this is not too hard on my computer. It's a fairly big file. Let's show hide rendered file. Yeah, there we go. So I created this whole scene here. I've got, obviously it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get my materials in here. Come on. There we go. So this is what all my materials look like. I have Mega Man up here. He's jumping off the cloud and onto a question mark box. I have a more realistic looking piranha plant popping out of the pipe. I have Donkey Kong over here beating on his chest. I have Link starting off the level, which is kind of weird. I have Tetris blocks falling from the sky, all with this backdrop of this Mario 3 level. So, I mean, you can just kind of throw some things together, have fun, making your own little 8-bit characters. I mean, it's super, super, super easy. Let me go back to my solid view. I'll just show you. I didn't do a whole lot of work to these. I just popped them out. See? There's Mega Man. Now I smoothed some of these out using a subsurf modifier. Let me see if I got it on there. Yeah. So I did something like that, and then you can smooth it, and it just kind of rounds out the edges. It ruins the 8-bit kind of look to it, but it does make them look a little bit more or less like a video game. So if that's something you want to do, you can do that. And where's Donkey Kong? There he is. So you get something like this. There's Donkey Kong sitting over there. And I mean, yeah, you could just throw him into a scene like this, or you could try to rig up a skeleton and maybe do some rigging for it and make it into an animation. I don't know, it's whatever you want to do with it. It's just a simple, easy process. Hopefully this tutorial will kind of help out some beginners to maybe get to learn a couple of the basic functions of Blender. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you come back next time for more tutorials.